So let's jump straight into our discussion for the night. And we have got Shaz in the studio. Hi, Shaz.
Hello.
Right, if you can just let us know a bit more. I know it's a youth group we're trying to promote and build and get up and running in October, which is next month, isn't it? Yeah, it's September now.
Yes, started in May. The children, I could call them kids, youth, children, whatever you want to call them. The young people of the village were getting blamed for an awful lot of stuff that they weren't doing, or just because they were hanging around, places in groups, were intimidating, although, to be honest, they're not once you get to know them. Parents and other adults, extended family, decided that maybe we should do something about this. They have one youth club on a Friday, which is run by the local Methodist church, which is brilliant. But it just isn't enough. And with the summer holidays coming up, we knew that we had to do something to try and get them off the streets into something, anything, just so that people in the village and the surrounding areas won't see them as a threat or an intimidation, but as actually human beings and people. And they are just children.
Definitely.
Doing children things,
I think generally what people don't understand, they judge.
Absolutely.
So because obviously young people's when adults, as you call them, try to read younger people and they can't do that, they just generally need to put a stereotype and put us in a category, in a label, to say that we're this and we're that and we're always doing this and we're always doing that. When sometimes if they figure it out and look into it a bit deeper and try to actually get to know young people, they can see what we're really all about, and kind of we're not really much different. We're just kind of evolving. And I think if some people would think, okay, I was that age once as well, they may understand a bit better.
I think the older some people get, the further away their youth seems to them.
Definitely.
I think they forget that we're living in the 21st century now. Society has changed.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe back when my grandmother was a child, playing in the streets was safe. Not so many cars, not so much crime. Leave the back door open. Today, that's not always the case.
Of course.
But as I said, times are changing, people are changing, and so the youth are changing, and we have to change with them.
Yeah, because obviously there's a lot of influences to obviously make the changes happen, obviously, and I think the main thing to blame for that is the media, really, to be honest.
I totally agree there. I mean, the media, the hoodie culture that's come out, and anybody in a hood, and my sister wears a hood, and she'll admit that she's not a hoodie, but she wears a hood. She's not running around doing awful things, and neither are most of the children. There are some that are, but not all, and we shouldn't tar them all with the same brush.
Of course.
We should give them a chance.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you. I think it's a great thing that you're doing to obviously open up a new youth group for our young people, because even particularly around Gloucester, a lot of the youth centres have been closed down, and even if there are a few open, they're definitely out of reach to some people to actually get there and get home safe, especially when it comes to winter and it gets a bit darker. So I think it's is it kind of a central location for everyone to be able to get to easily?
Well, the village we live in it's a commuter-style sort of farming village.
Okay.
It doesn't have much going for it at all. It's got a pub, shop, 2 churches, and it's one of the local churches are running the youth club on a Friday. We as a youth group, don't actually have a building.
Right.
And that is what we're raising funds for at the moment.
Okay.
We need to get a pod, a place where the kids can go, hang out, if you like, and it's their place to do, not to do what what they want in it, but it's their place to meet. They're not sort of in and out of the shop annoying, not even annoying people, but that kind of scenario that you get. They're not out in the cold, in the dark, at people being suspicious of them. Summer's great. We've got fields, abundance of fields where they play football. They can sort of play whatever they want. We meet up with them as well. We play games with them. We take them places, anything just to get them out, give them something, to look forward to. Winter months are coming. We need to raise as much as we can. We need this pod. It's not going to be available by October, which is when we want to be properly up and running, but it's in the process.
Of course.
We've got a couple of community buildings in the village, and they very kindly, allow us to use them. But they also use them for their own events.
Yeah.
So it's not somewhere they can go every day from 5 till 9 or something. So they are limited.
Yeah, of course. Because I think England is one of the toughest places for young people as well, due to even the weather. I think that's the main situation for young people, especially when you're 15. And I think a lot of young people feel that 15 or the 15 to 16 barrier is a situation where you're thinking, oh, what do I do?
Exactly.
I can't go out and do this, I can't go out and do that, I can't get into there, I can't get into that. So what do I do? And it's generally in your group of friends, go out, you drink when you shouldn't, or you do stuff when you shouldn't, because there's nothing else to do, really. If there was something else to occupy your mind at the stage of being 16, because sometimes I found sometimes when you go to a youth club, when you are 15, 16, it seems that the stuff they kind of supply for you is it's kind of can be quite patronising sometimes, because it feels like it's for younger people, like people like say that's 10, 12, kind of feel like that when you're around 15. When you're 15, you think you're the oldest person in the world and no one can tell you this and no one can tell you that, and that's just generally that age group where you think, yeah, I'm my own boss at that point, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and I don't think there's a single person living on the planet that's ever been 16 that has ever not thought like that. I mean, what we want to do is raise awareness for the 11 to 17-year-old age group to start with.
Definitely, I think that's a good start.
It is, because that's the age of the kids in our village, mostly out and about, and they do range from 11 to 17, and they hang together.
Yeah.
We're not excluding anybody younger or anybody older. It's just that our focus is on that particular age range. And like you said, they start to get into things. They start to think that, or want to go places. Yeah. They feel they're old enough to do so. And in some cases they are, but they're still babies, you know?
Yeah,
they're still children. They still need protecting. And that's basically our main aim.
Definitely. I think it's brilliant because you're doing barbecues and stuff like that. And everyone loves a good barbecue, don't they, really, no matter what age you are. So I think it's good for that to be a fundraising situation as well.
That is, and along with our litter picking, we've had a couple of successful ones of those where the kids have come out and picked the litter up in the street. And I like to add, it's not just their litter. It's litter from all people, you know, all ages. They come out, they litter pick, and then afterwards it's a barbecue or a picnic and a game of rounders or tug of war or something to keep them occupied, you know, something. And they love it because the grown-ups or the adults as they see us are joining in, and they're treating them as equals, as human beings, and not just as, you know, the youth or the youth culture as you know, many people want to look at it.
I think this also kind of touches on the riots that just happened recently as well, because it's funny actually, because as soon after the riots happened, that's when because I watched the news constantly when the riots were happening, and you kind of heard specialists and newsreaders saying maybe it is time that we start to look out for the young people and start to do more for them and not just hide them or just ignore them. And I think it was a shame that it had to go so far for like the young people to get some sort of attention in regards to okay, maybe we need to start, you know, like looking out for them as well and looking to see what their needs are, because we're generally shunned or put into a category saying, okay, you're not good enough for this, you're not good enough for that, you're this and you're that, and that's it really. And there's no getting out of that category until you do something completely extraordinary, either in a bad way or a good way.
No, and I remember hearing a lot about the youth of today being blamed a lot for those riots.
Definitely.
And it was not the youth.
Of course, exactly.
And absolutely incensed me, and a lot of other people as well, because then people start looking at young people in a different light again, because they think because there were people, like I said, the hoodies running around, they weren't the youth.
Exactly.
They could have been anybody. They could have been 90-year-olds, you know? Not that they were. And the other the other side of that is it wasn't the youth weren't to blame for the riots, and a lot of people were saying, oh, because of all of the government closing down the community centres, that's what's caused this problem. It's not. Funding is the problem, unfortunately, but there is funding out there. Yeah. Or you raise your own funds. And if you're in a community now and you're sat there thinking, we have nothing, then do what we did. Start something.
Of course.
Just a couple of you get together. Just think about what the kids want. Ask them, involve them. Make it their responsibility to tell you, you know what they want and what you can do for them, and you'd be really, really surprised. And we've had some great donations. We've had great support from all sides, especially in our village and beyond. And there is money out there for the youth, but you have to go and get it yourself. It won't just fall into your lap. You have to go and find it, you know, and raise your own funds. This is what we're doing Sunday. We've got a fete with a car boot, dog show. We've got craft stalls coming in. We've got bouncy items, you know. We've got typical fete stuff and more. And we've been tirelessly going around delivering leaflets, putting up posters, phoning the newspapers, the radio shows. You know, if you want to get your point across, if you want to get involved, just got to do as much as you can.
Of course, I definitely agree with you, and I think you guys are definitely going the right way about it, because I think the best way to expand yourself is to let people hear about you.
Yeah.
And then they'll come to you and say, okay, I want to be involved in this as well, and let's build something together. So I think that's definitely the great way to go about it. What's your future plans? What's the future aims in regards to this youth club? What are you looking to do with it? How are you looking to expand a bit further?
Like I said, raise as much money as we can, get a pod sorted out, get some playground equipment sorted out. I mean, we have some at the moment which is old and tired, and mostly for the small people. We want something for the bigger kids, something they can hang off of, you know, something I could hang off of, you know, that sort of thing. We're looking at maybe trying to get a lottery grant for a gym park. I don't know whether you've ever heard of or seen them.
Oh, no.
There's like big bulky gym equipment that's like in the colours of playground stuff, and it's durable for adults, children alike.
Okay.
You know, that would be a great idea. Get the kids involved in maybe some theatre stuff. That's where I come in. There's maybe some music stuff. Certainly take them out on as many trips as we can afford to get them out and educate them.
Yeah.
So that they're not just hanging about, festering away. They're getting really, really, you know, downhearted about being blamed, not just individually, but as youth in general.
Of course.
They want people to respect them, and they will respect people. But, you know, it's a two-way thing, and it's hard for them. They are making a better name for themselves, but it's taken some of us adults to, you know, push behind them.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't do everything themselves. They're not old enough to do certain things, you know. They're not experienced enough. So they do need the adults behind them. But eventually what we want to do is just let them go a bit further, do their own thing, do their own fundraising.
Definitely.
And just be children.
I agree with you, and it's nice that you guys are there behind them, supporting them and kind of holding them up and keeping them strong in regards to knowing what they want. And I love the fact that you're looking to bring so many different dimensions into the youth group.
Yeah.
So obviously keep them entertained, because obviously when you're, say, around from 11 to 17, it's quite easy to get bored, really, and get your attention off to somewhere else. So the fact that you're into drama, the fact you're looking to build up one of those outdoor gyms,
if we can, that'd be lovely.
Outdoor gyms, or just bring something new to it each time, and so they've always got something there to entertain them with. I think that's a brilliant idea, definitely. So you said you're looking to bring kind of a theatre aspect to it, get them into acting and get them into music, or get them to kind of fulfil their passion. Is that what you mean?
That's my own personal passion, I think, the whole theatre thing. But I did think, you know, maybe you could get them to tell their story,
of course,
through drama, through music. If they want, they might not want to, they might want to, but it's just something, you know. A lot of them are very sporty. So they all play football, you know, and they're very good at that. But again, I think, you know, that's not everybody's cup of tea either. Yeah,
I think it's great, because a lot of young people need a direction and something to work towards, in order for them to, you know, have to feel fulfilled in what they're doing and feel good about obviously what they're working towards. So know there's a goal at the end of it and some sort of proud feeling and achievement at the end of it. And I think a lot of young people need that kind of guidance and direction. Definitely. I mean, it's brilliant that, because obviously you said you live in a village, and there's obviously you're kind of getting you're building up a lot more supports, and there's all the fetes and all the events you're keeping up to obviously trying to build and fundraise for that. I think that's brilliant. But and obviously because it's in a village, so I think it's a lot more easy to do that. Do you find?
Well, yes and no. The problem we have with village life is we're not in a city, we're not in town, so we don't. It's always deemed that if you live in a village, everything must be okay because it's a village and it's lovely and it's you know, it's fine. What they don't realise is there's very limited stuff for kids to do. Whereas in the town, in the city, you may be able to walk to the bowling, you may be able to walk to the swimming pool. We have to drive our kids everywhere. We have to catch buses, and there aren't that many of them. You know, our nearest town is 2 miles away, but that's still a small town. The next nearest is about 5 miles away. Well, to get the kids to there, it costs money. It's always all about the money. That's the problem. Nothing in this life is for free, and they can't walk everywhere. They could all cycle, but the roads are dangerous, you know. So
I mean I think a lot of it frustrates me. I think the government really should consider young people a lot more, because the funding they're using is to make England a beautiful place, but like putting things in England, like say 2012, that's brilliant. That's obviously a good start for England, because obviously it does help involve young people as well. But what about after 2012? What do we do after that? All the funds has gone into that, and then there's nothing left after that. So in which way are you going to tackle the young people and trying to keep them entertained and keep giving them perspective and get them to work towards something? And I think a lot of that at that times it does frustrate me to think that there's nothing much out there for young people. And I think it's brilliant that you're doing it for yourself, but I do definitely think the government should put towards helping out young people and giving them a direction a lot more, not just free schooling, I think.
No, absolutely, and that should be right across the board in all sort of, avenues, whether it's school or the local council, anything like that. They just want something somewhere.
Yeah.
To call their own.
Definitely. I think young people just they would love to have responsibility, to know how to look after something, because when you call something your own, that's definitely yours. So you have to maintain that to keep it as it is. So I think a lot of young people love to have that kind of responsibility, and I think that's great that you're building that for those young people.
We just hope the donations keep coming in and the people keep sponsoring us and and work with us. And hope that the local community that we're in still keep working with us. That means all of them, not just some of them,
So how, because October's quite a short way away, isn't it, really? So you got the event coming up on Sunday. Any more oncoming events that you got planned?
Well, we are hoping that we'll do something Christmas. There's always, Christmas is great. We do a shopping evening or something, and then we're hoping to get together with all of the other committees within the village and do something for the Jubilee next year.
Okay.
And have that as a complete village event, and with hopefully with many of the youth of the village helping and showing that they are, responsible and they can do such things. Thereafter, we just lots and lots of ideas, as many as we can throw at each other. But again, it takes time, effort, and in some cases money. We're all working people, we're all doing it our own time, we're sort of off our own bat, so
yeah, of course, definitely.
There's always those issues as well. I mean, we'd have loved to have done lots of things throughout, so that's 6 weeks holidays, but with work commitments and everything else, that's going to be quite tough. A few of us are going shortly on some training courses with youth groups, so that's all good.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. So there's people looking forward to going straight into it. Is it kind of a charity work for every adult that takes part and gets involved with it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've got a committee, I suppose, both adults and children on the committee. The committee members meet on a regular basis, and that's, like I said, both adults and children, to decide what's next, what can we do, whether it's, let's have a car wash event to raise money, anything like that, But there's a little paperwork behind it, and that does put a lot of people off, but there is help out there if you want it. I mean, the county council and Gloucestershire Council itself will give as much help as possible. They have people designed and set up for that.
That's brilliant.
So yeah.
Is there any contact numbers we can have for you?
Yes, I can leave them for you. If anybody wants to phone in and ask, I'll leave the numbers for you.
That'd be brilliant. Do you want to broadcast it? So
you've got to ask me now, aren't you? Get my numbers out. What I would say is, let me have a look, see if I can find it. Not on me at the moment. What I would say is, if people want to phone in to the radio station itself, they will have the numbers on hand. Okay. And give the information that needed. And if there's anybody out there that wants to help or wants to know how to help, then give us a call.
Definitely. I think you should definitely keep us posted. Email us as often as possible.
We'll do. We'll keep
everybody else updated as well on the situation. That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so sorry, but time's completely zoomed past.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Time flies when you're having fun, they say, and it has definitely flown past this evening, as it always does when you just have an hour on the air. But I'm grateful for the hour. But thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it, and I hope it all takes off in the right direction, and you end up getting the
desired effect. Thank you very much.
Desired effect. Thank you so much for coming in. Okay. Shaz, have a good evening. I hope it all goes well for you. Thank you.
You're listening to the Community Link Crew on GFM 96.6.